Power Lagoon.
Hello everyone, so it's May 2019 and I think I mentioned before in some of my other videos, going to Florida. So we're going to sail the Keys. So there's a flurry of activity going on trying to get the boat ready, because I don't think I've ever gotten the boat in the water this early. So I'm going to do a quick video of all the things we're doing, preparation to heading to, we're putting in a penny camp in Key Largo and probably going to be sailing. I don't think we're going to go all the way to Key West. My eldest son's going with me. So we're picking up from college this weekend, so I still got a bunch of stuff to get done on the boat and some projects in the office to get done. So I'm going to go over some stuff that I'm doing to get the boat prepared. So I did go in here and had the reload. I know last year I did the repair, which I still don't know if you can see that. I went back in, checked all the water tank screws, had to push it back because I made my ice box cooler larger, and I only had one rough stuff farther in, but I don't think it was under the screw. But I went inside and put a patch of like 4 or 5 layers of epoxy and fiberglass cloth over it anyway. So, but I checked all the other screws, nothing else looked like it penetrated. I didn't reflood the boat, so hopefully that is the only hole. So, or we'll soon find out. I'm redoing the bunk boards. This is the original ones, and I'm relining them up. So I just dump water out of the boat, so it's coming out of the cockpit. Reline it so when the keel comes in, I should have done this about 10, 12 years ago when I got the boat. So it'll come in better. And I'm changing them from 2x4s to 2x10s. Had to do some work on the trailer lights, and I did check the bearings. I might have some water in a couple of the bearings, and the grease doesn't look too good, so I'm probably gonna, I think the front one here on the right, I'm going to pull and repack it, and I may, if I have time, I'm going to go around and again investigate and do them. But I did add some new grease to them. So all the wiring's been checked out. Motor was run, put back in. She's so nice and clean considering it was barely in the water last year. So I have rollers I'm replacing, which I have out. I'm going to be doing that today. And pain is I got to jack the boat up to get them in there, and I'm hoping this put it in on Monday to reline it, because I don't want to travel to Florida with it so off cantered like this. So it really kind of stinks. We're gonna have to put her in and take her right back out and get her lined up, and then I'll be able to put this bunk board in. So it's gonna go in with just this old one. So that's pretty much the trailer. Oh, and I did have one of my spares, checking the tires and everything. Spares, one of the valve stems was bad, so that's out getting replaced, and it'll get remounted there. And the cable had issues, so I redid the eye and cut off a few feet of the cable. I did put the outboard Dinghy engine mount on, so that did finally got installed. I'm hoping to borrow my father-in-law's little Mercury. And that's the mount for the bait cutting board. That does work with the box that goes here. Everything else is pretty much stay the same. The only different thing I did put a lock on the lazarette, which I didn't have before, so I did do that. The gas tanks have been drained, refilled. 2 6-gallon tanks have 5 gallons each in them. Motor's been run, so now I can lock that down. I want to do a solid board for the front, but big thing is it still makes it a little more difficult to use the engine and get in and out. I redid the lock for the main hatch. Now it has pins on each side that go into the hull, and this was just kind of a, I don't know, cheesy pot metal zinc. So now the hatch board is, instead of just screwed lock, it's all through bolted, and I have some pop rivets in here, and then this latch is all through bolted into this, and then this is pinned down. And I did do kind of a hook closure, so now if I want to inside, we can lock it. We can lock it shut if we want. The only thing is gonna get used to these locking pins. I'm so used to just pulling that off. And down below, as I said, the water tank was pushed back about 3 more inches to fit the cooler that I increased in size, because now it has like 2.5, almost 2.5 inches of insulation all the way around. Everything else is pretty much the same. Get my batteries changed in my weather station. It's sitting in here. I said pretty much the water pump we really didn't use last year, because even though we went out on a couple day trips, we really don't use water when we're on day trips. So but the tank was pulled out, was rinsed out, so I haven't filled it yet, so I'm gonna wait till probably Monday before we leave and fill it. Got my extra flashlight in here, and I was gonna order offshore vests, and I'm realizing I'm not going to the Bahamas, so and I'd rather have something that both me and my son will actually wear. So I have this belt one that I bought for myself when I sail by myself to wear, and I did wind up, I just ordered one of these, the same one, M16, I forget, it's an Onyx online for like $56. So that's supposed to be coming any day. So this way, if the weather gets rough, we'll at least wear these. I'm gonna hold off on the offshore ones because I'm afraid we're not gonna wear them anyway. And I'm gonna have these offshore vests that I spent $70 on, and we're not gonna be wearing them where I know we'll wear these belts if it gets rough, like last year with the thunderstorms come on. So if the wind kicks up over 15, or we got thunderstorms coming in, I'll make sure we definitely be wearing our belts. And I have 4 regular, you know, those orange ugly life jackets, but also I'm taking I'm going to take 2 ski vests also, so we can just grab those when we go out in the dinghy with the belts. I did put PVC pipe inside my oars this year, so they're strengthened. That's the one project that I did do over the winter. And I did make a bottom grate, venting grate for the main hatch. So I figured this way, if we do leave the boat, and I still want to get some ventilation here because there's 2 vents in the upper board, I'll be able to slip this one in and still lock it up. But it won't be baking down there. So that's one thing that I've been wanting to do, and I finally did. So I don't know, depending on that, we could just use this hatch board. So, but that's the other project that I did earlier in the winter. And porta potty's in, that's all ready to go. The blankets and the pillows are all in. Got the halyard and sheets are in here. I have my machete from El Salvador. I believe that's where it was made, but it was purchased in Costa Rica from my son. Did get some new fishing gear. I have 2 plastic lures which I've never used before, so we're going to try them. I did buy an El Cheapo dive knife. It really is pretty El Cheapo, but I know I'll be snorkeling with my Hawaiian sling, and since my son's technically not fishing because I don't want to buy a fishing license, he wants protection. He can wear the dive knife. So And oh, there's a battery. I did change out the battery in the weather station, so that's ready to go. So that's about all the stuff that's getting done on the boat. He said the battery looks like it's charging fine, so it's just get the food list, which I did start to put a food list together, and did pack up some food in a Rubbermaid container. I think I want to pick up another one so it's not just laying all over the boat. Rubbermaid container. Van's been in the shop. The van is working now, so that was the other thing we were dealing with, my van not running well. So the brakes are being done today, and which, yeah, it's always good to have new brakes on that. So I said I got to do the rollers. That's really the big project today to get done, and get the boat in the water and shift her over. So that's not going to take long, but it's just something that's got to get done. So so that's news. Looking forward to going to the Keys. I can't believe we're really going, even though it's kind of cloudy here. So it should be a good trip. So hopefully we'll have safe travels getting down the trailer. It's very always kind of a deal trailing that far. So I don't know, it's over 1,500 miles or some ridiculous amount like that. But we are stopping up my mom's first down, who's up in the Ocala area. So we're only coming from New Jersey to Ocala, and then we got another 8 to 10 hours to go to the Keys after that. But we're going to take a couple days of rest and then head down. So going to be down this time next week. I'll be in Florida. So hope you're all doing well. Thanks for watching. Fair winds and fair seas. I always forget stuff when I'm doing the video. The other project that I worked on in the late winter, early spring was changing out my charge controller from a regular one to the MPPT. And this one has the smartphone built in. And I know I did another video install. I only put a metal plate against the bulkhead, but I actually put little metal offsets. So the whole unit, even though it's screwed to the bulkhead, the back of it is actually pulled off, so it'll get a little air under there. I know one of the videos, guy was having issues because his was overheating. And let's go ahead and get back out. So that's been my front compartment. So that's the one thing, and it's really nice being able to check, because before I just had that voltmeter there. It's really nice being able to check the you know, how the solar panels are going. And the one thing now, just running the radio and a few things, half the time it seems to be on float, and I have 70 watts of solar. I think the most it's ever was using is 50 watts so far. So the battery is staying, it's nice to know it's staying charged, and the solar panels are easily covering the load that I'm using. So we'll see on this trip in the Keys just how much drawdown we do on a daily basis between the stereo running and the depth sounder and the VHF on and stuff. But right now, half the time it's on float, or it's doing like 3 watts of solar out of the 70 watts that I have mounted. So we'll see. So that's the one thing that I forgot. I know there's something else too that I have to go. Oh, the engine mount. No, it is not the engine mount. It is the engine well cover, because even with the outboard in there, it's kind of hard to see. There's still a lot of room, and depending on how rough it is, you'll get splash. So I made this cover that goes on top. The one thing I realized now that I changed my outboard, my other outboard, the water from the water pump, the piston came off to the side, and my new one, it pretty much comes right off the back. So I came in and kind of like vacuum molded some epoxy and fiberglass mat to fill this whole section here that I had that could splash in. So I just did that cut. I'm gonna mount this in now. So now the only place right now, that hole was like this big. So after the engine's in, I slip this in and I wire it down so it minimizes the splash into the lazarette when you're doing rough weather. So this is the other thing that I just did, and this was like last minute. I just did this like 2 days ago. So I really noticed that when I was running the outboard, I always forget to pay attention to where the water comes out, and I realize it's right behind. So This now should just leave just enough room for the water to get back into the water. Time to put it in, which is always fun. Okay, there's just endless little projects. So I've way back when I added like a foam gasket around the hatch, so when it closes the rain can't splash and get underneath. For some reason, I don't know, up here it's like a rubber one that I put between, even though I put the plastic over to cover it, and this is really squished down to nothing. I did like a foam thing, and I remember my daughter when she was young just thought it was really neat to just like pick it and rip it and off for whatever reason. So now I was doing some other sealant, so I got this rubber stuff, so I decided I need to do this. So I'm like painting the cooler, putting that in, board in, finishing that, trailer lights, and seems like I'm doing something else too. But I want to do this first, because if I have any left, I'm going to put it around the top edge of the engine cover, so when the cover sits on top, it's actually like on a gasket. So, but this is more important to do this before I use it over there. So now I'm back to doing this project. So I'll let you see how it all comes out, because I'm not going to film it done. So I got it all cleaned up and ready to go. So time to install the gasket. Oh, and I'm adding a windscreen to my stove mount. So the back section, I decided it'll be more efficient, since I cook out in the cockpit, to put a windscreen on the back side. So I have a piece of aluminum flashing I have to drill and pop rivet in. So this is when the other projects get done. I'll show you that after it's done. It's just here to remind me to do it. I did cut the aluminum, so I said tons of little things. I could wait, but I like to get done.